Y'all, I got a mic. I'm popping now. I feel like a real YouTuber. Do you want to be on top? I'm channeling Tyra Banks, Cycle 8, panel every elimination, where she had a little piece of rat-a-tat-tat wig and a little bandana covering those edges up because she didn't want the people to know the truth. Let me stop before she cussed my ass out. This is Oliver Twixt here, your nerd boy cutie, always reporting for duty to do the Lord's work once again. And we are back doing one of my favorite things of all time, which is running my mouth about America's Next Top Model. And in honor of Cycle 8, I decided to pull one of my coiffs out of the closet and channel my inner Tyra Banks because I am in charge of the girls and Tyra Banks is in charge of the girls. So I wanted to channel Tyra Banks Cycle 8 every elimination. I was binge watching last night and I was like, why this bitch had a wig with a goddamn do-rag on at every panel? But it was kind of cute for her. Low key, Tyra's wigs during Cycle 8 were very cute. And I feel like people don't appreciate them enough and they really should. Like Mama was spending money on wigs that cycle. But anyways, we are here, guys, getting into the things of the things with finally the winner of Cycle 8. Listen, I'm so grateful that she is here because, as y'all know, I have been trying to get the Cha-Cha Diva in my classroom for months. And one day I woke up to a DM in my Instagram from the Cha-Cha Diva herself saying, Oliver, I'm ready. Estoy listo, señor Oliver, she said. And I said, sí, señorita, let's go. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so happy. Listen, before we get into the chat today, listen, if y'all have not seen the NBC, what was the network? Was it ABC? I'm sorry. Don't nobody cuss me out. If y'all have not seen the ABC Nightline documentary they did on Top Model, go to Hulu right now today and type in Nightline and you can see the special that they did that features not only me, but some of our favorites that have Grace, This Classroom, Kenya, Lisa, Tiffany, and of course, my dear friend Angelique. Go watch it. And Janice Dixon makes a cameo. I was so gagged when I saw Janice because they didn't tell me she was going to be in it. But it's a really good watch. You know, it ain't as good as what we be doing over here. But it's a really cute watch, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. So, guys, please make sure you go watch it. Listen, without further ado, I'm going to stop yapping, and I'm going to bring in the reason why you all are here. Let's give it up for the winner of America's Next Top, the winner, excuse me, of America's Next Top Model Cycle 8, Jaslene.
Hola, Oliver!
Hi!
Hello, everyone.
How you doing? How you doing today, Jaslene?
I'm excited. Finally.
Are you now?
Finally, we talk. You don't know how many people be hitting up my comments, my DMs, do an interview with Oliver, do an interview. Then I finally saw your DM, and I'm like, you know what? Let me do it. What's going on? What's so special about Mr. Oliver's interview with ANTM contestants?
Because we get into the things of the things. And we have a good time. You know, it really started out with me just really wanting to talk about the show and take a fan approach to really just getting into what happened on the show. I didn't know that there was so much trauma and experiences with the contestants and some of the judges and people involved in this show. It's something that just naturally just came out as I was doing this. And so I think people just enjoy the good time we have. I think people see my genuine heart and that I really love doing this and I'm not here to exploit anybody. Um and we get to the things of the things, girl, and it's a good time.
Well, let's get to it.
Yeah. So listen, I first want to start off with we first met you on America's Next Top Model Cycle 7,
Yes.
which you were part of the finalists that got flown out to the show. Take us back to what year was this that you first started your top model journey?
I started in 2000 and I believe 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So take us back to 2005. What made you want to audition for the show and be a contestant?
I was getting a lot of, oh, you should be on that show, America's Next Top Model. Like, I was always hearing it, and I was a big fan of the show. And I used to sit on the couch and I used to watch it, never really desiring to be on it until one day, after a couple seasons later, I realized that there wasn't no Latinas, like really
Mm-hmm.
representing my culture. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember sitting on the couch with my mom and telling her, I want to be the first Latina to win this show, and I'm going to go and audition. And so what I did was, at the time, America's Next Top Model was not coming to audition in like major cities like Chicago. So I went online and I was scouting the place where a casting director was going to be present. I wanted a casting director to see me. I didn't want to submit a video. I didn't want to submit an application because I knew it was going to drown in the middle of thousands of applications. So I sat my dad down and I told him I need to rent a car because I'm going to drive 6 hours to Cleveland, Ohio. So the drive that I had within me to really be on the show, I literally took that drive all the way to Cleveland, Ohio, and went through a process of auditions, which I wasn't expecting to even stay in Cleveland, Ohio another day. And I had to stay another day because I went through a process of an elimination. And then I
Mm.
ended up getting casted by the casting director of America's Next Top Model, Michelle Mock.
Oh, dope. Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle Mock.
So you are a smart girl and you did your homework. We absolutely love that. Talk about the onboarding process for Top Model. We've heard many stories, both good and not so good, about just what it took to actually get to the show. What was it like for you?
For me, I knew that right away I had to stand out because the amount of girls that are in this process, you'd be surprised. It's a
Mhm.
lot of girls. Like we're almost
A
at the
lot of
1,000
girls.
mark, down to 100 mark, then down to like your 30. Okay, so I went from the thousands to hundreds, and in those thousands and hundreds, I remember my auditions being where the rooms were so packed, they would line us up like against the wall. So imagine a wall, all 4 walls being lined up. So my nose was touching the other girl's shoulder. That's how packed they would have us
Oh
in the
wow.
room. And so
Wow, I'm a star.
we had very little opportunity to showcase ourselves, to represent ourselves. But every moment, like I remember my first time, I had to step out of that line, right? Where we're like nose to nose. And I remember telling myself, like, girl, you better give every little attitude that you have within you, a little spice that I had within me, and all I had to say was my name, my age, my height, and where I'm from. But I said I'm gonna say my name, my age, my height, like in a way that they've never seen before. And that's what I
I know
did.
that's
I
right.
came out, I brought out my legs first, like, hello, I'm here, my name, my age, my height, and where I'm from. Just like that. And then I went back into the line. So then I think that was the beginning of them like, wait, who's that girl? And then I had like a satin top that was just covering like right here with a little
Mhm.
ruffle. So I was very strategic about everything, like how I was gonna stand out. And then once I made it out of Chicago, I made it to the semifinals with the 30 girls in the house.
Which clearly it worked because you got on the show. So like I said earlier, we saw you on Cycle 7. And so I have this question. So I want to know what happened with Cycle 7? You were shown as an early front runner, but were later denied access to the house. Now, I've heard reports of alleged situations going on in your personal life that prohibited you from being casted that particular cycle. What do you feel comfortable about sharing about what really happened that caused you not to be a part of Cycle 7? So, was it that, Jaslene just wasn't good enough compared to the other girls to get into the house? Or was it other things that the audience did not know because it was not shown on the show that led to you not being included that cycle?
So something happened behind the scenes that no one knew. I've spoken about this in certain interviews, but America's Next Top Model, like, they're very serious about the girls they pick in the house. So there's a process of elimination, but there's also a process of evaluation. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're in
I like how
the
you put that.
audition process, you undergo a few like therapy sessions, and in those therapy sessions, I personally was speaking very freely and openly about my life, including my relationship with my boyfriend at the time. And I was speaking about the highs and the lows. I was very explicit
Mm-hmm.
about everything that I was going through with him. And I remember that out of all the girls, they pulled me out one more time to go through a therapy session. And I found that a bit strange because, like, I had to leave. I was in Beverly Hills and I had to go to this fancy therapist, and it was just me by
Mm.
myself. And I'm like, okay, and I'm speaking about my relationship with my boyfriend to this therapist. So then, it's time for Tyra to call the 14 girls out of the 30. And we all saw she didn't call my name, and I swore I was going to be in that house. And I got fed up. I didn't understand why I didn't make it into the house. They wanted interviews. I wasn't trying to give them any interviews. I was like, y'all lost your chance. Like, you ain't getting nothing from me. And the producers, literally, the producers had to come to me, sit me down, and be like, you were actually not Tyra Banks' number one girl. But the
Oh, wow.
therapist overruled her decision because you are emotionally distraught. You
Mm.
are in an abusive relationship. And that was the first time I ever heard abuse, like being in an abusive relationship. That word never existed in my vocabulary, or I never understood it. And the producers were like, well, if you get help, if you get out of that relationship, we will guarantee you a spot back in the house next season. So that
Oh, wow.
so that gave me hope. I came back home. I did 6 months of therapy, and I gained knowledge on what constitutes healthy behavior and unhealthy behavior in a relationship. I got out of the cycle. I understood what the cycle of abuse is and broke that cycle. Even though, as a victim of a survivor, victim and a survivor at the time of victim, you try to break that cycle. Once you learn, you try to break it. But I did go back a couple times, but that was typical of the victim's profile. But then eventually I came out, and then I come back on America's Next Top Model, and here I am, your winner.
Oh my God, that is such a beautiful story. I think it's safe to assume a part of you is grateful for them making you do that.
And I've always said that. I've always said that if it weren't for them to give me that kind of awareness and healing journey, to start giving me that healing journey,
Yeah.
that I wouldn't be the advocate or the survivor that I am today.
I think this is a perfect spot to take a quick break from what we're talking about. Do you want to talk to the people out there who may be struggling with something similar to what you're saying that you did in the past?
Yeah, I think that just like I did, opening up to someone that actually could help you is a good way to start to get to getting out of an abusive relationship. I think that's where the hope
Hmm.
starts, and I think that girls need to understand that there is hope in in a situation like that. I
Yeah.
come from a Latin background where that's not typically talked about. In fact, it's normal for the man to be dominant, to be abusive. And one thing that I appreciate about this journey is that I've learned to be loved in a whole different way. So love is not abuse. And I encourage people to get out, get out of
Yeah.
the unhealthy relationship because there is someone better for you.
And thank you so much for that. First of all, I wanna ask you, from what you just shared, you didn't even realize that you were in an abusive relationship. To people who may not be as knowledgeable about it, what are some signs that you can share with people that they should probably be aware of that indicates they're in a situation similar to the one you spoke about?
So you have to be aware that, I was still young, so I saw jealousy as a form of love. And a lot of us tend to think that that is a form of love, and it's not. It's
Hmm.
actually toxic. Any controlling issues is, or power issues, trying to have power over you, is another characteristic of a man who is abusive. I think that physical, mental, verbal, and emotional abuse, um, they don't discriminate. It can be anyone that can go through this. You're talking about doctors, lawyers that can be facing domestic violence. Um,
Hmm.
Another characteristic is, accusing you of maybe cheating. Um, that was one big thing that my ex used to do, was always accuse me of cheating on him, always going through my phone. It's like there was no trust, no loyalty. And yeah, look out for those things.
So we see you come back for cycle 8. And again, as I was saying earlier, cycle 8 was my first cycle that I started doing this with through Dion. And I'm so grateful to her for starting something that I didn't even know what I was doing at the moment that has led to so many great things. And I'm so grateful again to have you here to talk about cycle 8, our inaugural cycle that started this whole madness.
Yes.
So, my first question to you is, how was Top Model Boot Camp? Dion told
Ugh.
us it was bananas.
No, it was real boot camp. Like we were sleeping on bunk beds. I still have my combat boots. We're wearing combat boots. We're hitting the pavement. We're in the mud, and um, it was like the beginning of torture.
Oh my god.
I'm like, we really gotta turn into model situation. Like I think that's where the training really like started,
Mhm.
and um, just like the whole scheduling. Like you eat at this certain time, we gotta meet at this certain time, we gotta walk, you know, together. I mean, we were on a camp that really felt like we were in the army.
Did you feel like it was necessary?
I think every situation on America's Next Top Model was necessary because you're able to see all of your contestants, your competition in every situation, and
Yeah.
you are able to watch how they perform, what they're
Mhm.
doing, and then your opportunity to show out as well.
Yeah. And so at the boot camp, Tyra makes her big reveal with the Sigmas stomping the yard. How was that seeing your old girl back in the flesh?
I was excited every time I saw Tyra. I was just gagging, always wanting like that one, like just let's meet eyes, let's make eye contact situation. I always wanted
Uh-huh.
to feel her, hear her, and see what she, had up her sleeve, really.
Hmm. So we see you get back in front of the judges, and in conversation, Tyra's like, "You're too calm." What do
Hmm.
you remember about your approach to cycle 8? Was it something intentional you were doing with trying to come off more calm as she described, or was there potentially something else going on?
No, I think that I'm that kind of girl. As you grow and you're developing, I realized that I think I was just humbling myself, with them.
Mm,
Um, I was taking that competition very seriously, so I think my seriousness also came off a little too much.
mm,
Um, and at the time, my pack of drag queens weren't there. In my first auditions, my pack of drag queens were right behind me, telling me, prepping me, like, girl, do this, do that, do this. And so this time, I was like, just me by myself, showing them like I just did 6 months of trying to get rid of this boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? I'm here. I'm ready. There's what else do I need to do? You saw what I could do already. Kind of situation.
yeah.
And like, but I don't know. It just came off serious.
Now, when you say pack of drag queens, what does that mean? Did you have like friends in your personal life who were drag queens?
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh.
was a singer and a dancer for over 10 years, and I was part of the largest culture group in Chicago. My grandfather was a director, but I was in this era where there was a lot of dance groups. We were the only group that sang and danced, but the other groups had like all these other members that became our friends because we were kind of like the all stars. We were like
Mm-hmm. Come on, All
celebrities.
Stars.
We were kind of like celebrities in our own little community. And so the boys lived for me. They always wanted me. They always wanted Flocka because they called me Flocka, skinny girl. They always wanted Flocka to just walk for me, girl. Walk for me. This phony pony inspiration, this is not from no celebrity. This is what I used to wear as a singer and a dancer on stage. You know what I mean? Like
Ah, whip
just
it,
learning how to
whip
move
it.
it, learning how to work it. So
Ah!
they used to live for me, and I used to perform at drag queens performances, like at drag shows. I was under 21, hiding in the basement, getting ready as a backup dancer, and watching a drag queen with duct tape and 60 seconds getting ready.
Yes, I live. Jaslene, I did
And
not know
so,
you sang. Can I hear something?
como la flor. And honey, she's like rasping. Con tanto amor, me diste tú. I can't even sing right now. I'm cold, shivering in here. Me marcho y yo sé perder.
Pero.
Ay, cómo me duele.
I live! Oh
Yes, Selena.
my god! Let me tell you, black people, we love us some Selena. I don't know why we like her so much, but we love us some Selena. We don't know the
Honey,
words. We gonna chop suey it up, but we love us some Selena.
the whole world loves Selena. Who doesn't love that
Yes.
big old booty?
Yes. Oh my god, you just gave me a shot of adrenaline. That just gave me everything. Okay, so you legit were around drag culture because of course during your cycle we always heard she's evoking the girls, it's almost like a drag queen, da da da, but that was your real background.
If like I had a pack of drag queens. I was performing at the
Like candy.
Baton, at the
Uh-huh.
Baton, which is legendary here in Chicago, and I'm like 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They're hiding me in the dressing room,
Not smuggling
but then
drag
I'm on
queens.
stage.
Ow! Da, 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 ow! Guess who's back in the house? Click, click, clack in the bell. I live. Oh my God.
It was so much, but I lived too. I was living. And so they turned me into a drag queen. That's what I went in. And then Cha Cha Diva was developed. But Cha Cha Diva was named by Miss J, not
Yes.
my drag queen friends.
Cha-cha, bitch. Guys, fun fact. So, as some of you guys know, I was on The Circle this past season 5 on Netflix. Go watch it. Where I was competing for my own $100,000. And in The Circle, they do a player profile where you're dancing. If you guys go back and watch me dancing and I'm like dancing back and forth, they were actually playing RuPaul's Cha Cha. That's what I was dancing to. And I was getting my absolute life. Yes.
What you
Going
do,
back,
Oliver?
what you say?
Did you do a little shimmy shimmy, a
Oh,
little
bitch, I was
hip
out there
hip?
twerking for the white people. I was going bananas. They was like, girl, who is this? We can't let her go.
Yes.
Please cast her. Jumping back to you in America's Next Top Model, I want to jump into some juicy drama that does not involve you. So on the first episode, we see Natasha, runner-up of Cycle 8, getting into it with a lot of girls. So here's my question. There were so many conflicts that involved Natasha getting into it with the other contestants. From your perspective, was it Natasha being intentionally antagonistic, or were the girls just misunderstanding her? Excuse me.
Now in retrospect, I think that her personality was very different from what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people took offense, including myself, to who she naturally was.
Mm.
I don't think we knew how to manage her, on the show. So I think our natural response was to be defensive towards her.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Gotcha. Okay. Because Natasha was busy that first episode. It was like every time they cut to the room with y'all, Natasha was getting into it with somebody. But thank you for the explanation, and I appreciate that. So you make it into the house. Were you really shocked? Were you really scared?
so I was very scared. I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't really even go into that other room. Remember that secret room where girls would go and talk to that camera and just freely let, their feelings out? You barely saw me in there because I was so frightful of the cameras. I was running from them, Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want them to record me. There was there was in many ways a little bit of fear in speaking because I knew that I couldn't articulate my thoughts or my words in a way that people would understand. I was super hood. Like the way I speak now is not the way I used to speak. I was struggling with being bilingual with, you know,
Mm.
I was thinking things in Spanish and I couldn't explain them in English. And I just couldn't put words into,
Oh wow.
I couldn't put my thoughts into words on the show. So being in front of the camera really made me afraid.
Oh wow. I would have never thought that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yes.
But it's so
Yeah.
cool
You never saw me in that room. You
the
never saw me go
confessional
in there like,
room. No.
yeah, like, let me tell you something. No, I couldn't. I was like, unless you ask me a question, I'll answer.
And plus, like you said, you were focused. Like you really wanted to
Yeah.
win, so you wasn't with the foolishness and the
No,
chitty
I
chatter. You
wasn't
was
wasting.
laser focused.
Super laser focus. Yeah.
Yes. So you make it into the house, of course, and we're going on to episode 2. How was it shooting with Nigel Barker at that first photo shoot, the political views photo shoot?
Oh my God, I love him. I love him. I just love him in many ways.
I'm sorry, you just recently saw him in Chicago, right?
Yeah, he comes here a lot. Yeah,
I was
I've
supposed
been
to
seeing him.
come. He invited
I've
me,
been seeing
but
him a lot of times. He's very supportive. He's very supportive. And honey, when you tell me you were my winner the moment I saw you, girl, my heart melted. I was like, oh my God, I love you. When you hear that man speak in person, the eloquence, everything. So Nigel Barker, I knew that he was an expert. I knew that he's a master in his craft. So shooting with him, there was a lot of adrenaline and a lot of excitement because I knew that my photo was about to go from the girl down the block photo mega 8.0 megapixels to like a real high-end photo shoot. And I
Yeah.
couldn't wait. And that's when Raja painted my face. That was my first introduction to meeting Raja, Drag Race winner and lead makeup artist on America's Next Top Model in my season. So
Yeah.
I got the beat down, and then I went, and they gave me this very a look that I knew I was able to convey, a look that I knew I could bring to life, which was the
Executioner.
executioner.
One of my favorite photos of Top Model. It was so good. Let's take a quick pause right fast. And I know the kiddies out there are cursing me out because I forgot something so important and salient to these chats. Top Model roll call, where I name everyone who was a cast member on your cycle, the contestants and the judges, and you're gonna tell me the first thing that comes to your brain. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. You can say whatever you want to say. Are you ready?
You are not doing this.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, okay.
Let's
A ver, a
go.
ver.
First on the
Vamos.
list is Kathleen.
Sweetheart.
Oh, the next person on the list is Samantha.
Cry baby. Wait. Okay, Samantha, baby girl.
She went home during the high school photo
Yep.
shoot. She had the
Baby girl.
I can't remember who I spoke to because I've spoken to Dion, of course. I've spoken to Brittany, and I've spoken to Sarah, and now you. I can't remember from which one of those chats. They said that there was something going on with Samantha behind the scenes that led to her being eliminated on screen. Do you remember anything about that?
No, I think that Samantha was naturally a timid girl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if she just quit before the show even started. Situation.
Oh.
What was the drama? What did they say?
I can't remember. And I spoke to somebody. Maybe it's Sarah's chat because it's like it's in the forefront of my memory. And Brittany and Dion were like a while ago. And they were like there was some things going on with Samantha. I can't remember.
I don't
So
know if
don't quote.
Samantha. I don't know if Samantha wanted to be there like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't remember her attitude being like she wanted it.
Next on the list is Cassandra.
That's the sweetheart. That's what I thought
Mm-hmm.
what you said.
I do remember someone saying that her hand actually got frostbitten at that ice cream nude photo shoot, and I
Yes.
believe they said she had to go to the hospital. Now we didn't see that on camera. What do you remember that?
I just remember her complaining about her hand. It was
Mm,
frozen. Like she was there on set for hours just holding ice cream.
damn.
And they didn't think about the repercussions.
Now I also want to shout out Cassandra during her first panel with the judges during casting. Cassandra told them that she sewed her wig on her head, and Tyra, Miss J, and Jay Manuel laughed at her. Fast forward to 2023.
Oh,
Hello.
honey, we're still wearing wigs. No,
She was a trendsetter.
Cassandra was a very honest girl, and that's why Cassandra was the first girl that I actually emotionally opened up to. I don't know if you saw in
Mm,
like in the beginning of the season, I'm sitting there and I'm talking about my emotions or whatever, but I
mhm,
confided in her because Cassandra was she was a sweetheart. She was
mhm.
open and mature.
Yeah.
Having that.
Which I could get from watching. Next on the list is one of the most robbed contestants in ANTM history, in my opinion, Felicia.
She got more limbs than a giraffe, honey. That girl has some long limbs. That's all I can remember. Like her arms and her legs were like so abnormally long. And
Really?
like the middle part of her body was like little. I don't know, it was so weird.
Hmm. Were you shocked when she went home
No.
fourth during that crime scene photo? What? Why were you not shocked?
There was something about her. She was my, I would say, as a competitor, she was my least favorite person to compete with because there was something about her attitude. One, it was a bit too playful and immature for a competition. And then remember, she was the only one I got into conflict with. The one that I wanted, I should have beat her up. I should have did this. I should have did that for her trying to mess with me because, and that's what I mean. I couldn't express myself because I didn't know how to read someone at the time, you know, because I would have read you in Spanish.
Now,
I don't know.
Jaslene, what would have gave
But
you?
Miss Felicia, honey, I would have hit her with a brush if they let me.
Now, Jaslene, in hindsight, if you would have started reading her in Spanish, that would have been
It would have been cute.
everything. Can you give me a little piece right now? What would you have said?
Mira, no empieces conmigo. Tú eres una.
Yo,
Que no
we are
venga.
back in this.
Que no venga con esa estupidez aquí, ¿ok, mija? Honey.
Felicia, we bind you. That is
Really,
amazing.
what?
I felt like Felicia had stunning photos. First week out, stunning. Second week out, stunning. Extremely stunning, actually. That jumping photo show, amazing. One of my favorite shots. Third week, stunning. And then fourth week, I mean, she kind of floundered, but I didn't think it was enough to send her home. Jaslene said, get that bitch out of here.
I was not feeling her at all.
Mm-hmm.
At all.
Next on the list is Diana. Lady Diana.
Cute.
Why would
Cute.
she tell Jade just cause? I said, oh my girl. Girl, you they's finna sing your ass home. When he was like, why do you want to be America's Next Top Model? She was like, just cause.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, these girls did not have a narrative.
Which honestly is so freaking important. Like I said, I just did the circle on Netflix, and one of the things I feel like I'm trying to, because I'm still under contract, my shit ain't expired yet. But one thing I feel like that maybe could have helped me is if I would have had a narrative. I had the personality, I had the look, I had the wit, but I didn't necessarily have like a tangible narrative. And I feel like in
Oliver.
hindsight, if I would have had one, that could have helped me.
Yes,
I
dear.
didn't think about that.
You have to. That's you. One, the way you create a narrative is by understanding in hindsight what you're jumping into.
Mm-hmm.
So put yourself in a position of like, what do you think these people are going to ask me? What is this show about?
Mm-hmm.
So I already had answers built in me because of my pack of drag queens. They were always preparing me too of like, girl, they're going to ask you this. What are you going to say?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be like, or they'll be like, no, say it like this, because you have to be prepared.
Yeah, I would say I still have that same approach, but I think by the time the circle got to my season, the focus was less on strategy and competing, in my opinion, and more so on the character motivation. And I think
The what?
like
The what motivation?
the contestants' motivation, like why are you doing this? Why are you trying to win this money? What does this money
Right.
actually mean? And during my whole process, I was like, child, I'm here to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to have a good time. And yeah, that's just my personal
See,
thought.
and that's okay, but when you're on a platform like that, you should never just come in and play games.
Yeah.
It is. It is your one and only and once in a lifetime opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that my narrative was always going to stem from I'm a Latina girl who wants to represent the Latina beauty.
Yeah.
So I've always pulled from there, and I've had a lot of experiences already that I could pull from. So that's the thing, like, it's not enough to just live life
Mm-hmm.
having fun. You have to put yourself in positions where you're playing different roles,
Mm-hmm.
because then when they ask you to play that role, you have narrative
Yep.
from that role.
That is so true. That's a gold nugget for anybody out there watching. If you want to be a contestant on a reality TV show, have a narrative, baby. Make the people fall in love with you, with your story.
Buenos días, damas y caballeros, y mi distinguido jurado. Tú sabes quién eres. You gotta be ready, honey. You
Yeah.
gotta let them know you're interviewing me, but I'm also interviewing you.
Next on the
You
list
know,
is Sarah.
Corky,
Mm-hmm.
Miss
Did
Corky.
you think Sarah was competition? Sarah was taking some serious photos in the beginning. Ooh.
I I was waiting when, because I would imagine Samantha staying longer than Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Next on the list is Whitney.
I love me some brown chocolate. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Whitney are still friends to this
Oh my
day.
god, that's so
I lived with
beautiful.
Whitney. I lived with Whitney in New York City and all after Top Model and everything. I had did like some international travels,
Uh-huh.
and I kept traveling. So I gave up my apartment in New York City to move in with her, and she was so supportive in my journey. Yeah, so we bonded and we're still friends to this day.
Tell Whitney I said hello
Love
and I
me, my
absolutely
Whitney
adore
honey.
her.
I love her. I will tell her that.
Thank you. Next on the list is our beauty, Jael.
Oh, God bless Jael. Jael was a rock star on our season. She was a rock star. A personality that won that in that show. When I felt like I did have competition, it was always towards personalities, not talent. And Jael was a personality that I felt I was always competing against, but in an endearing way, because we never had beef. We
Mm-hmm.
loved each other. But I knew that her personality was going to captivate the cameras, where I knew there was a difference. I had talent to captivate, but I didn't have, my personality was still in development. She was a ball. See, although my personality was different, it was there. But did you see how crazy JL was? She's like reality TV star gold.
Gold. Gold. Gold.
Gold.
My
And I
I'm
feel
sorry.
so bad. No, but when you think about some of these personalities now, in retrospect, how and why they were developed that way,
Yeah.
there was actually something already being rooted from her background that was causing her to kind of outburst
Mm-hmm.
the way she would on the show. And unfortunately, why Renee or her, their destiny went the way it did.
Mm-hmm. I'm
You
curious
know,
to know, did you stay in contact with her after the show?
JL,
Yeah.
no, but I held her letter. I have her letter.
She sent you a letter?
She wrote us all a letter when she got eliminated.
That's right. That's beautiful. I want to know, what is your reaction to her story after the show? Of course, we saw the entire Dr. Phil situation. But luckily, amazingly, before, her time, she did get her life back on track. During our chat with Brittany, who was still close friends with her at that time, really shared with us like the growth and the change and the positivity that she was operating in. What is your reaction to seeing how her trajectory went post Top Model?
I think that situation saddened me. It was very unfortunate to see her go down that path. Um, I was happy when I saw her in her recovery mode, but I was still shocked because she didn't look like herself.
Mm-hmm.
She looked like someone completely different. But my heart just broke. You know, my heart broke. My heart was, it's like, you know, because I lived with her, I almost felt like I knew where this was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You get a sense of like that you were already struggling, but I didn't expect it to go this far.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm shocked. I was shocked. I'm but heartbroken at the same time. And then to hear her pass too early, too
Yeah.
soon.
Of course, rest in peace, Jael. And I just think the beauty of her story is that she got it right. You know, she got her life back on track, and she still is such a huge inspiration to so many people, having beat all those challenges that she had. And I really encourage you guys, if you have not watched, please go on my channel and watch my live chat with Brittany, who really did such a great job honoring her legacy and really giving us some behind the scenes information about, you know, what JL was going through, but just how she was able to come out of that. It's so beautiful. And, you know, I just want to honor JL and thank her for still being an inspiration. And luckily enough, Top Model was able to capture her magic. She was such a unique personality. My favorite JL moment is when she was reading Renee in that kitchen. And she was like, everyone, did she say everyone knows you're a hot mess? And I fully support them. I think that line is so iconic, and I fully support them. Oh my god! Don't walk by me. Walk around. Jay, I would have loved to meet her.
So I felt like when you had JL on your side, you felt like you had Big Mama on your side. Like nobody was gonna mess with you once JL was on your side.
Mhm.
So I JL did not care to win. JL wanted you to win
Mhm.
in every aspect of the word. Because I remember doing my semifinals, and we had a hotel room next to each other, so our balconies were next to each other. And I come outside, and she's coming outside, and she's already telling me I'm gonna win.
Oh wow.
You know, she was so kind. She didn't care. She was not catty at all, at
Mhm.
all. A free spirit all the way. Now my favorite part of her was when we were at the Outback in Australia doing our CoverGirl commercial, and she's running wild like the birds, just climbing trees like Michael Jackson. I mean, just doing all kinds of funny things. She was entertaining. I mean, literally, one of the best.
JL, we love you, girl, and thank you so much, Jaslene, for sharing your thoughts on our top model royalty icon, JL Strauss. Next on the list is Brittany.
Pigeon. I don't know why. I thought about pigeon. She kind of gave me like a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a bird look. Whiner. She whined a
Did Brittany
lot.
really whine?
Did what?
I said, did
Did
she
she
really
really
whine
whine?
a lot?
Yeah. Yeah. There was
Ooh, Tyra, we lost
she
you.
I don't know. There was just like no like open-mindedness
Mm-hmm.
with her. I felt like certain things were always triggering her or bothering her.
Did you think she was competition? Because she was rocking steady with your ass. You was taking good photos, but she was taking good photos too.
When it came down to photos, yes. Yes. I knew she was competition.
Yes.
because she was stunning in photos. When she did the twins, I said, "Oh my God, I got a competitor."
It took you that long to realize that?
With her,
Hell
yes, it
no.
was in that photo when I was like, "Oh yes."
So so it
Well,
so it
because
wasn't the
Natasha
candy
was
photo
still,
shoot. It wasn't none of those. It was that photo.
it was that photo where I was like, "Oh my God, it's on like Donkey Kong."
What is your
Yeah.
reaction to her iconic top model meltdown in Australia at those go sees where she's
Hold
going
on.
bananas?
She looked like
Oh my god.
she was a mess. That girl did not know how to deal with a wig, and poor girl, they put on the wig, and it was
Mm-hmm.
disastrous.
It was.
Disastrous. I don't know what to say. I felt bad. That thing looked scary. It was haunting us in our sleep.
Hell
Woo!
no.
Yes.
Next on the list is Dion. Hula Hey Brown.
Oh, Dion was a beauty.
Mama is still
Dion
gorgeous.
was a beauty. She was milk chocolate all the way, stunning, peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
very peaceful. You know, we got along very well. Love Dion. But Dion had a body built, like her body was pretty built, like even on the show. And I couldn't really see because she was so pretty, then she was so calm, like, and then her body was very, it's like, there wasn't really like a model essence that we could pull out of her,
Mm.
you know. So I never really saw her as like a threat or a competition, you know.
Next on the list is Renee.
Oh Lord. Uh, I don't like putting people down, like especially if they're already like in a
Yeah.
place where I'll tell you, she's the white sunglasses in a box full of black sunglasses.
Okay. Expound.
And white sunglasses are fashion faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Okay. Um, I want to know your reaction to her trajectory after the show, which was very public, and I mean, and no laughing matter at all. Someone reached out to me and told me that unfortunately she's, back incarcerated right now. Um, yeah,
She was out.
yeah, she got out. She had got out. She got out. But I was looking for her, and someone told me that she, you know, and I ain't nosy. I ain't gonna go look and see what she did. But what's your reaction to how her journey kind of went after the show?
Just another unfortunate situation because I know she has kids as well. Um, I think we gotta really see that what caused her, what happened, what
Yeah,
caused her to make that flip. What is the combination here? We don't know. We
yeah,
don't know what drug. We don't know what lifestyle she's facing. I think there is a lot that comes with being on top model. There's a lot that plays with you psychologically and emotionally.
hmm,
And so we don't know how that affected them and why they were triggered in the way they were.
yeah,
We know that everything stems from home, their upbringing. But what we saw was already almost like what was sprouting from those circumstances. And then we're now looking at the result
yeah.
of a mixture of top model, who knows what abuse, drug abuse, sex abuse, we don't know, violence. I mean, obviously, something very, very
Very
traumatic.
traumatic. Yeah. We send healing energy Renee's way and hope that it is my hope, and I believe everyone's hope that she's able to, get her life in a better place.
She's a smart girl. She could.
Mhm.
That's what's crazy.
Next on the list is the runner-up, Natasha.
The Russian bride.
Uh-huh. Is she still married to that man? What do you know?
I don't think so, honey. I saw her on Instagram and she just looks like a whole different person.
Mama is different out here in these streets,
Oh,
okay?
Mama is out there. But she had a girl and I don't know where that girl went, her baby girl. Where did she go?
I don't know why that just tickled me. Jaslene, what happened to the baby? Where you think the baby went? Oh my God.
Where did she go?
I don't know. I don't know.
I was looking for her. Mommy, I was looking for her mommy and daughter photo to see how big she grew.
Yeah, that baby should be like a teenager, young adult at this point,
That
right?
girl, right?
Maybe she don't want to show the
Yes.
world the baby.
I'm seeing more than the baby, that's for sure.
Yeah, Natasha is out here. I've been on her Instagram. Natasha is out here. I'm curious to know what she does. Because she's out here.
Russian girls are something else, let me tell you.
Ooh.
I modeled house with so many Russian girls,
What they
and
was doing?
like they were eating cigarettes for breakfast because those girls smoke, those girls can party, and then some of them are just the best patrushkas you could have in your life.
What's a
They're
babushka? What you say?
patrushkas, a friend.
Oh,
That means friend.
okay.
Yeah, so they could be, but man, they're all over the world. Like the modeling industry loves Russian models,
Mhm.
and they work really hard to stay in the game.
I remember a couple years ago, I dated a Russian guy who was in America on some business. This is still in like 2018. And I always wonder what he's doing. I always wonder.
You're always wondering.
Yeah. Well, not always, but anytime Russia or Russian comes up, I always think about him.
You like him?
I liked him back then, yeah. It's been years. It's been
What
at
did
least 5 years.
what did he do for work?
You know what? I could never really get it out of him, but whatever it was, it was it was it was a good job. Whatever he did, it was a really good job. Cuz we dated for like we were in each other's company, let me say that. For like the last 3 weeks he was over here. He had been over here for like a year, and those 3 weeks were amazing. I felt like a black American princess, okay? And it was amazing.
Well, good for you, girl. Good for you. If you got treated like a
Did
queen,
you think Natasha
yes.
was going to beat you?
So when it was time to walk into panel, I'm not gonna lie. I thought right before we walk in, I'm holding her hand because we held hands the moment we saw each other because we knew this was like a real serious moment.
Mhm.
We were supportive, but I remember thinking like, girl, don't be fooled. You know how this show goes. You end up thinking you're the winner, and they go on ahead and flip it on you.
Right.
So that crossed my mind. Like as much as I believe I'm the winner, Natasha can win this.
Mhm. I would say through editing, the only thing that made me nervous that Natasha may get it was that in the final panel they went up more for her runway than they did yours. Like they were
They
like
hate it.
no, like they were more um they liked her runway
Yeah,
walk
they were
more than
rooting.
they liked yours. And I was like, damn.
There was no way with the way she walked, she was better.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm not trying to diss her, but like that's where it's just I was confused. And you know why I said that was did you see her walk normally?
Yes, her shoulders were always like up here. That's what I
But
remember.
she was pigeon toed.
Oh.
and she walked pigeon-toed on the runway. So I should have elaborated a little bit more. I would see her pigeon-toed.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't understand how someone had better walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
Let's move on to the judges panel. And I'm adding this one in because I saw so much of them on this cycle. And I know they watched. Shout out to Sutan. I want to know, what were your thoughts about working with Sutan on the cycle?
Sutan, we lived for each other. Sutan will always be like, I'm doing her face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Sutan was the key lead artist in the room, I was always getting my face beat by Sutan, no one else. So, like, I look like his little sister. We would talk in the back of the like our RVs. We look at Tyra. We look at all these people. We just kicking. Only me and him.
Uh-huh.
And I remember walking out of my runway. He was a big sister, let me tell you. It was finale. He saw me walk out. He's like, "Girl, you got this."
Did he now?
He was like, we're running. We're still not done with the fashion show recording. But honey, he saw me walking and you got this. So he was always like just being such a big sister with me, making sure my face was always beat. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
And I think my hair today is paying homage to him because he wears his hair gray all the time now. So I think I'm low-key paying homage to the great Sutan, aka Raja.
He'll be proud.
Yes! I absolutely love him, love her, love them. I think they are.
He's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Mr. J. Manuel.
Blue Steel? I don't know.
What the hell that be?
Silver Fox.
Okay.
Silver Fox. I don't know. He gave me Silver Fox the whole time.
How was it working with him? Gorgeous man. Gorgeous.
I remember Mr. J, to me being like a celebrity, me meeting him on the show, because I knew he was very hands-on when it came to photo shoots. And he was the one I always wanted to impress. So my time with him was like, I always saw him as a professional and I always wanted to just hear what he had to say about me. Was he gonna like me? And he was actually always very nice, but he's very like receptive. He'll ask you questions. He's very understanding and he's listening. And there was no favoritism with him at all. So it was like I always try to play my cards very cool with him.
Next on the list is fashion icon, living legend, Twiggy.
Yes, Miss Twiggy. I got to encounter her very, very, very little times other than the panel. So knowing that she's an icon, every review that she gave me, I would take to heart.
Yeah.
Next
on the list is Nigel Barker. You spoke about him earlier. Excuse me. Anything else you want to add to him? Anything else you want to add to him?
No, hard eyes.
He is gorgeous. And I said earlier, I don't think you heard me. He actually invited me to that event he had in Chicago, and I believe you were there. And I honestly forgot. Like, I forgot, and I should have put it on my calendar. And I was like,
"You live in Chicago?"
No, but I would have came. Girl, I don't got no job, so I would have came.
Oh, well, for the next one, we can meet up.
Yes, when it's not cold. I just left Chicago like a couple weeks ago, and that frigid shit is not for me. Okay, it's not.
It's freezing today. You would hate it.
Yes, I grew up in South Florida, so anything below 70 is like a tundra.
Oh, no. Girl, you would turn into Ice Cube out here.
Yeah, I believe it. Next on the list is Jay Alexander.
Miss Ruffles.
Yeah.
Cha 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 cha. Yes.
How was it filming cycle 8 with him?
So Miss Miss J taught me how to walk
Mm-hmm.
runway. Um, and I would never, and to this day, I still take his tip. I remember from when we were walking on that track,
Mm-hmm.
that racetrack, how he taught me how to walk there. And then for the finale of our season, he also taught me how to walk on that platform. So he was super educational, and he knew what, excuse me, he knew what he was talking about when it came to runway walking.
Mm-hmm.
So walk like Miss J, honey.
Yes, the Kelly
He
47 has a
knows.
song called Jaywalk
I
that
I heard it. I
yes,
heard
and he's
it.
actually on it.
That's
That's
crazy.
new audio that
He
he went in the
deserves
studio and filmed. I mean, recorded. Y'all go listen to that song Jaywalk by the Kelly 47. It is everything. It's
it. It's
inspired by Miss
so
J.
good. Wow.
Last but not least, the host who I'm channeling today, okay, with my wig and my bandana on because I'm lazy. I don't want y'all to see my crunchy edges. Tyra Banks. Jaslene, what are your thoughts on Tyra Banks?
So I love Tyra Banks. I'm probably one of the only few contestants that really I honor her,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm grateful for her because as you heard from the beginning of my journey, I'm sure she had a lot to do with the development of my character in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Getting out of the abusive relationship, giving me the second chance to come on the show, and then giving me the title of America's Next Top Model was a humbling and truly honor coming from Tyra Banks.
Yeah.
So Tyra Banks is a stoic woman on the show. And I was expecting more of the interaction that every girl wants from Tyra Banks, but Tyra Banks is a businesswoman. And at the end of the day, the show is about Tyra Banks,
Yeah.
which I think a lot of people mistaken or are always wondering why the winners don't get this kind of recognition. But like Tyra Banks is not gonna let anyone get bigger than her.
Is that what you
You
feel for
know, so
real?
absolutely, absolutely. I think that she worked so hard to build Top Model that, you know, when it comes to the umbrella of Top Model, she is the head. But I honor her. I'm grateful for her, and I think that um, I've been blessed by her.
And I don't
Getting
want you to think you're one of the few girls because there's a lot of people who love Tyra Banks and have a great relationship with her. They appreciate the show. They appreciate her. Um, so yeah, I listen. You know, I've only met the woman one time over the phone. I want to know what's your reaction to the criticism she gets because she still gets a lot of criticism, like a lot.
like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Because
So of course, like I shouted out earlier, the special I did with ABC Nightline, where they did a deep dive into Top Model. A lot of the girls on there and people on social media attribute a lot of the girls' trauma, some of the bad things that happened on the show in terms of treatment, challenges, photo shoots, things people consider indecent treatment, some socially and culturally um disrespectful things such as blackface. A lot of people blame that on Tyra. And a lot of the things that happened to the girls, like Yaya from Cycle 3, with that African moment in the Kente hat, Danielle from Cycle 6 in the Gap, people drag Tyra a lot, like a lot. What's your reaction to see the heavy criticism she gets post so many years since the show's been on the air?
I think that a lot of people need to understand that Tyra Banks is a very strategic woman in the way she developed her show.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it had success was because of that. But you also have to realize that Tyra Banks, or the show America's Next Top Model, revolutionized the modeling industry. So to have a great impact the way the show did, really minimizes the amount of trauma that these girls are talking about. I think compared to all the other reality TV shows where you actually see gun violence and drugs, that America's Next Top Model doesn't even fit in that caliber
Mm-hmm.
because of the way that it's transformed a lot of our lives in a positive way, including an industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think no one, I don't know, I think at that point it becomes subjective as well. Whereas like it shouldn't be, you shouldn't, what her opinion is shouldn't define what the show's impact actually is. You know,
Mm-hmm. Oh my God,
it's
thank you.
subjective.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think it's all, like you said, subjective and perspective, and just depending on what choice you want to make and how you view the lady, you know. Ultimately, and which I think that's anybody and anything in this world. It's all about perspective and how you choose to view it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I wish the show went for longer.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, yes, that she also did more of like the winners, like how RuPaul, like why does RuPaul Drag Race have so much more success and all these spin-offs and all of these things, and Top Model didn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know, have that kind of
Yeah.
success, you know?
Um,
But
we've reached the end of roll call, and I know you have to go soon, right? Yes, yes. Now listen,
yeah,
Jaslene, we gotta get you we have to get you back because we have so many questions, so many fan questions. I would love the opportunity to get you back here. Is there anything you want to share before I let you go?
I didn't see anyone on the chat. I don't know who's there, but I love all of you guys. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the love and support from each and every one of you guys. My day has been blessed with by you, Oliver. Thank you for such a wonderful, fun interview. But truly, I am the luckiest girl with the kind of fans that I have from America's Next Top Model. And I just want to say I love you guys, all of you, with my whole heart. Thank you.
Yes, Jaslene. I just want to give you your flowers while I have you here. You are one of my favorite contestants on the show because I feel like you exemplify perseverance, raw talent, and a shining personality. And I still see it to this day. And the fact that you are, I believe, well, I was going to be shady. Um,
You better be careful before I slap you with my
No,
wig.
don't slap me. What I was gonna say was the fact that you are the only Latina winner of the show, while monumental, and we appreciate you holding that mantle. I wish there was more representation. And I had to take a pause because my good friend Joanna claims her Latina ancestry, so I don't want her to be mad at me. You know, I don't want her to slap
Yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
in my mouth because I can't fight. But I just want to thank you so much for you being on Top Model and what that represents to so many people, the queer community, the community at large, the Latina community, survivors of domestic violence. Thank you so much. Hopefully, I can get you back here so we can get into some of the episodic questions as well as some of the fan questions. Top Model is so much. It's so much to get into. But I do thank you so much for your time. I really do.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, we are at the
Yeah.
end of our chat with Jaslene. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this video with someone else. As you guys know, there's over 150 chats on my YouTube channel about Top Model, where I'm talking to some of your favorite contestants and judges, including Tyra herself. So please, 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 please please go check that out. Excuse me. Go check out the recent Top Model documentary on Hulu, powered by Nightline, ABC, where I'm on there. Kenya from Cycle 4 is on there. Tiffany, we were rooting for you, is on there. Our girl Lisa is on there. And of course, Angela's on there, as well as Janice Dickinson. It's such a good watch about Top Model. And if you really got some time on your hands, go on Netflix and watch me on The Circle Season 5. I love you guys so much. And as we always say, until next time, be sure to what? Parade and Kegel! Jaslene, how you say that in Spanish? Pray and Kegel.
Orar y qué? What was the other
Orar
word?
y
What's the other word in English?
Kegel. Squeeze your coochie.
Girl! Girl! I'm not gonna say that. What is that? First of all, I never heard that word.
You never heard Kegel?
Kegel, never in my entire adulthood life.
It's a thing. It's an exercise.
What is that?
It's a thing. Like it's a thing. It's an exercise
I've
where you
heard of
squeeze
squeezing.
you squeeze your vagina or you squeeze your butthole to strengthen the muscle. Mm-hmm. And so I tell the people, make sure you pray so you can stay connected to God, and Kegel so you can always have a nice hot pocket.
Girl, you better Google that in Spanish. 'Cause
Bye, y'all.
Throw it in a circle, bitch. Throw it in a circle, bitch. Throw it in a circle, bitch.